Hello, hi everybody. Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Diana the Happy Lawyer time. Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Diana the Happy Lawyer time. And now here's Diana. I always want to shake my head when that happens. I don't know why. I guess it's like a drum beat. Now I messed up my hair. Hi, how is everybody? Yes. So it is Sunday night and it is the, championship weekend for football. And it's not going too well for the Green Bay Packers right now, I can tell you. It's pretty ugly. It's like 25-0. They're just really messing up left and right. But you know what? That's why they play the game. The Saints went out like 2 weeks ago, so I've just been coasting and rooting for the Packers. So I guess that's that's going down the tubes as we speak, but that's okay. Kansas City Chiefs already are in. Looks like it's going to be Kansas City Chiefs, and at this point, the 49ers. Now, here's the funny thing. They're both red. They're both red teams. So, like, the Kansas City Chiefs was a home game today. The whole stadium was red. And now the 49ers is a home game, and their whole stadium is red. So, next, at the Super Bowl, how are you going to be able to tell who's who? They're both going to be wearing red. So we'll see what happens. That's an interesting thing. Excuse me. And from shaking my hair, I get a little hair on my nose. So I'm here tonight to talk to you about being aware of awareness. Are you aware of awareness? And it's a little bit of an, I'll call it like it's like esoteric topic. It's like something that is a little unusual, a little like out there. So you're gonna be asking you to open your mind tonight, like you do when you go to a movie, like when you go to a movie and you really believe that superheroes are all over and they have superpowers and that there's a guy that can transform into fire or stretch his arms around the block and that type of thing, or other movies where there was always an interesting, funny movie called Face Off, I think it was called, and Nicolas Cage and John Travolta traded faces. I mean, and you really had to suspend your belief. So I'm kind of going to ask you to do that tonight, like suspend your belief a little bit, to just think about what else could be out there besides what you are, consciously aware of right now. The walls, this game, anything else that's around you that seems like hard and fast. Just kind of open your mind a little bit to this idea. And last week I talked about, firsts, the firsts of the year. This might be the first time of the year that you're opening your mind. When the year changes, we start to get very strict about setting boundaries and things that we want to do by a certain amount of time, and things have a lot of cutoffs. You cut off last year and you start this new year, and you want to, your New Year's resolutions are all set in stone, and a lot of things are very strict, and that's good. It's good to have a lot of things that are structured, but tonight I'm going to ask you to kind of release that structure a little bit and start thinking about awareness. So I got this idea this week from listening to Wayne Dyer. I've been listening to Wayne a lot lately, and if you haven't listened to Wayne Dyer, you should. He's really very easy to listen to. I find his voice is very soothing, and he talks a variety of different things, even in his own life, how he's gone from more structured thinking to more spiritual thinking, I'll call it. And he was talking about awareness, and it kind of made me start thinking about it too. So there are a couple of different kinds of awareness. There's what he refers to as like simple awareness. Now, simple awareness is what you're aware of, the obvious things. What you're having for dinner, what time you have to get up and go to work. Today it was snowing out and you're aware that you need to put on boots before you go out, or if you're getting hungry, you're aware that you got to start looking for something to eat. Those are the simple, immediate things that you're aware of in your life. And then there's something called higher awareness, and higher awareness is more like intuition. That seems to be what the closest definition is going to be. What you know inherently, what you think is going on without evidence or proof. What things that you feel strongly about, things you feel passionately about, even if they don't make sense. But for some reason, you just want to do it. Like if you just want to go, many times I'll just go for a walk. I'll be like, okay, I'm going for a walk, and I'll delay, and then all of a sudden I'll just like, okay, time to go for a walk. Just get out, go for a walk. And then something will happen on that walk. I'll see someone that I haven't seen in a while, or I'll find something. I find quarters all the time on the beach. It's a very strange thing. I mean, to walk on the beach in the sand and find quarters. I mean, the chance of that happening is very unusual. But it's the universe speaking to me. I'm aware of that. I'm aware in my higher awareness that when something is telling me to do something, that gut feeling that says get up and go do something, that's my higher awareness. And this higher awareness is going to lead you to know the effects that you can have on the events around you just by being someplace, and also the effect of the world around you is going to have on you. So it's not just about, getting up and getting to work on time. It's about thinking about the type of work that you're doing, and if you're helping people, if you're serving people, if there's something that is gratifying in your day that's going to help you to be it's really about knowing that you're going to affect other people in the world. I forgot who it was that said it, but they said something like, it's funny because I've been thinking about that. Your life is not about you. It's about the effect you have on other people. And that's really what we're here for. So the difference is when you're concerned about yourself, you're focusing on your ego, and things that will aggravate you in the course of your day, like being stuck in traffic, or somebody that's really slow at the grocery line, or somebody that's using coupons or counting pennies or something like that. And your reaction is, oh, come on already, I'm a busy person, get out of my way, and I want to get on with it already, and you're just annoying me. You're in my way in traffic, you're in my way in the grocery store. And that's like a lower level of awareness of your own needs. But on a higher level, you're becoming aware at that moment that it's really like a learning experience. Like, what can I learn from this thing that's obstructing my path? Maybe being calmer in traffic, having more patience in the grocery store. And you never know what that could lead to. A delay in something in the store. I'm a very big fan of believing that if I'm delayed somewhere, it's usually because I'm being I'm being delayed by the universe from some calamity that might occur, that might have occurred. Maybe a traffic accident that would have happened in front of me and stopped me, all day long, or anything like that. And so that higher awareness that the events that are going on around me are having a greater effect on my life than just making me 5 minutes late because somebody in front of me in the grocery store is using coupons and it's taking a long time, or they picked up an item that doesn't have a scanner thing on it. It may not even be their fault. It might just be something that's occurring that that somebody's got to call the, hey, register two, please pick up, like that. And then that person has to have their thing scanned specially, and so you're standing there waiting, and you can get aggravated. What is the point of getting aggravated? The aggravation is your is your selfish nature, your ego, thinking about how is this affecting me, instead of thinking about, what's the big deal, and hey, 5 minutes late could change. Really, it could change your whole life if you're 5 minutes later than you were. Could stop green lights, could red lights, all that stuff that we'll never know. That's the funny thing. You'll never know what would have happened if you had left 5 minutes earlier. You have to just have a knowing and a trusting that the events that are transpiring is the universal energy that is guiding you to a higher place, a better place. And this is what I'm talking about, suspending belief. If you're watching, hopefully you're a person with an open mind and you think you understand that my position of universal energy, like attracts like, we're magnets, and if you're attracting aggravation, if you're being aggravated in the store, you're going to attract aggravation. So, when you leave, somebody's going to cut you off in traffic, and that type of thing just perpetuates. And if you're calm, then when you leave, things are going to be calmer. Now, I started this year with this idea that things are going to be fast and easy for me this year, and when I keep in mind this idea, fast and easy, it's going to happen fast and easy, I'm finding that things are happening that way. Things are coming easier to me. And if they're not coming easier, if something is difficult, I really don't, it doesn't bother me. I just kind of ignore it. I just move on to whatever's next. So I looked up the words awareness because I wanted to try and give you a hard definition of what I'm talking about. And the general definition of awareness is the knowledge or perception of a situation or fact. Like I said, it's snowing out, I got to wear my boots, that type of thing. Then there's something called conscious awareness. And conscious awareness describes the mental state of being truly aware of events and situations in one's life. Minimal consciousness is the lowest, where your mind is vaguely aware of something but not truly focused on it. And perceptual awareness is the mind's ability to be aware of your body and your environment in a higher state. So it's like being up here. It's like being aware of what's going on up here and not just something that is the immediate stuff around you. And a lot of times we don't realize the effect that we're having even on ourselves. I have a friend, and this happened to me actually too. I went to the doctor, I had a cold, and it was like November. And I get to the doctor and he said, oh yeah, it's your annual fall upper respiratory infection. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, you were here last year at this time for an upper respiratory infection, and you were here the year before that for an upper respiratory infection. 3 years in a row, I'm in the doctor's office in like the end of October and November, with upper respiratory infection. And I thought that was really odd. And it occurred to me that I kind of set that up in my own mind by the changing of the seasons, that I was anticipating that I was going to get sick. I was going to have an upper respiratory infection. And I thought, you know what? I'm done. I'm done having upper respiratory infections every fall. I'm not going to have them anymore. And I haven't had an upper respiratory infection in the fall in years. I don't even remember when. I've actually made a conscious awareness to believe that I'm going to be healthy through the fall. And you know what, it's just, when you think about that, when you start putting your conscious higher level awareness into work on the effects around you, then you start doing stuff like, I start drinking like a vitamin C, the vitamin C drinks, and start, getting a little more sleep, doing a little more exercise. And you just think, I'm going to take better care of myself because I am not going to get the upper respiratory infection anymore. And sure enough, it happens. I have a friend named David, and he wrote in his Facebook, here comes my, usual sick, bronchitis that I get every year. And I said, when you say that, here comes the bronchitis that I get every year, you're literally setting yourself up for being sick. every year with bronchitis. You anticipate it, and your mind is so strong. People don't realize how strong their minds are. Whatever you tell your mind is your truth that is going to happen, then that is what's going to happen. You can believe yourself into bronchitis. And if you have an awareness of this, then you can believe yourself into health, or healthiness, not being sick. And people believe themselves through cancer all the time. I mean, there's people say, oh, there's no cure for cancer. Yet there are a lot of people who have cured themselves of cancer or survived cancer, even if they did, whatever medics. I'm not talking about just sitting home and saying, cure, whatever you have to do, chemotherapy or surgery or whatever people do. There are survivable ways, but those people are thinking, I am going to survive this. I am going to survive whatever it is, whatever illness, whatever negativity befalls them. Oh, I lost my job. It only means that there's a better job ahead for me. I separated from my partner. It means there's a better relationship ahead for me. And it's this type of higher awareness that is going to lead you into a knowing that with your own thoughts, you're going to be able to affect the world around you. And that's really what being aware is. Being a higher level of awareness is being aware that you have the ability to change the events around you to create the things that you want in your life. And on a simple level, I was aware that I wanted to be an attorney, and so I went to law school, and I went to college, I went to law school, I took the bar exam, and I became an attorney. It was a knowing that I had, and I just went through the motions. I never even questioned it. It was never even a question in my mind. I just did it. So but that was without knowing it at the time. That was a higher level of awareness that was making all of that happen for me. So, I did some quote searching, as I usually do, and Eckhart Tolle, one of the spiritual thinkers of the day. If you haven't heard of Eckhart Tolle, he's got a lot of great stuff. He speaks very simply, and a lot of people like him. He's written a lot of books, and you should definitely look him up on YouTube. And he says he's got a little. He did a little quote. I don't know where this quote is from, but it's got a Buddha on it, and I like Buddha. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. And this is what I'm talking about. When you become aware, if you become aware that you think every year you're going to get bronchitis, if you become aware that you're putting that thought, you're planted that seed in your mind, and your mind has no choice but to grow whatever you've planted in it. When you become aware that you're doing that, that is the greatest agent for change. You can change that and then not have bronchitis every year. I mean, you think it's crazy, but suspend belief. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is you have bronchitis anyway, which is what you expected to happen. But if you have an awareness that you can change that, then see what happens. Maybe you won't get bronchitis. This is Rumi, R-U-M-I, Rumi. He's a poet from like 3,000 years ago, before Jesus Christ. There was a lot of stuff that was going on before Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the most recent, I think, of the spiritual leaders that is still very held in high regard. But before Jesus Christ, Buddha, Rumi, a lot of other spiritual leaders were kind of saying the same things. So this stuff goes back to way before, any religion that I have knowledge of or want to be a part of. It's just, spiritualism. It's something that's like trying to connect with universal energy. So what Rumi said was, respond to every call that excites your spirit. And that's the thing that I was talking about, like when you feel passionate about something, when you feel like I want to be an attorney. and I responded to that call. Or if you want to start your own business, if you want to quit your job. Some people hate their jobs. A lot of people, it's Monday night, tomorrow's a holiday. Martin Luther King Day, I'll mention him in a second, and a lot of people are off. I'm off, so that always makes me happy on Sunday night to not have to get up Monday morning, because I'd rather watch football, even though this game is horrible. But if you have something inside of you, you have a calling, respond to that, act on that, even if it seems ridiculous, even if it seems like, don't quit your job. But if you want to become a florist or open a florist, go start get fake flowers. Go to Michael's, pick out fake flowers, make bouquets or arrangements from fake flowers. I make Christmas wreaths. They're fake. They last forever. But if it's something that you feel a calling, start anywhere if you want to do that, and then you can develop it into something bigger. But your awareness will lead you one step at a time to do something that your simple conscious awareness would stop you from doing, because you say, I can't do that, I don't have the talent, who's going to want to buy flowers from me, or I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't know anybody that's going to help me. All of those excuses that will stop you in your simple awareness, that won't stop you in your higher awareness. And here's another Rumi quote. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So love being the highest thing that you can achieve. He's saying, don't seek for love, seek for all of those barriers that are stopping you. So in this case, when I was talking about being a florist, don't go straight to the florist. Think of all the things that are stopping you from being a florist, and deal with them. Get rid of them. Get rid of all of those barriers that are stopping you from what you are passionate about, and your awareness of those barriers, of those things that are stopping you, is going to lead you, because you'll say, well, I'm not going to let that stop me. Don't let those things stop you. Go beyond those simple excuses and try to do something that you want to do. I mean, if you try something and you fail or you don't succeed, first of all, it's a lesson, always lessons that you can learn about if you don't succeed at something. And secondly, if you try and you don't succeed, you're in the same position as if you never tried. So you really kind of have nothing to lose. It's something that you want to, just give it a shot. And here's another quote. I can't read this guy's name because it's so tiny, but it is, let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around in awareness. Now, this is the idea that the awareness that we're talking about is something that is going on in the present moment. We talk a lot about things in the present. And yes, you're going to be aware of things that happened in the past, or things that you want to happen in the future. But really, the awareness of your ability to have an effect on your environment and on your situation is only going to happen in the present moment. The effect that you have can only happen now. You can only make a decision now to start drawing up a business plan on how to be a florist, or you can only make a decision now to go to Michael's and buy fake flowers and start making arrangements. The awareness that you have that will affect the outcome of your life is something that is going to have an effect now, not in the future. You can't say in the future, okay, I'm going to be a florist next week. I mean, you can plan on it, but if you're making the decision to do that, you're making that decision now. If you're following a passion, if you're listening to that inner knowing of something that you want to do, it's something that's going to you're affecting the situation around you now. So the awareness, the higher level of awareness, is something that is going on now, in this moment. Everything that I do for the show, I do at the moment that I'm doing it. And And then I know I'm going to do the show at 8 o'clock. I get prepared. I start listening to stuff. I start thinking about it during the week. And then I move, into position. I do everything that I have to do. But it's something that it is an ongoing. It's hard to explain because it's really a thought process. But it is the thought process of interacting with your environment now and not worrying so much about whatever last week's show was, or 2 weeks ago I missed the show. I also thought I'm coming up almost on 1 year of the show. In a couple of weeks I'll be doing the show 1 year, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun and interesting to think that I've been doing it 1 year, because I didn't know what was going to happen when I started it. But it's something that I feel strongly about. So my awareness of my ability to affect anybody that's listening, or affect me, all of that stuff, by doing this show on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, it is something that is it's like a calling. It's like a knowing. It's about being able to get rid of everything that would stop me. Say, no, nobody's going to listen. Who cares? Who wants to hear what I have to say? Or sound like an idiot, or any of the other things that would make me want to, or anybody want to stop from, putting themselves out there in front of people. Because it can be scary, because people are critical. Please, it's ridiculous what people can criticize you for. You have to have a thicker skin than that. And again, my favorite Maslow, Abraham Maslow, my quote is on the wall: be independent of the good opinions of other people. That is a very higher awareness realm, when you're not affected by other people, because the things that other people say that would affect you is really affecting your ego. And that's something that is ego is very low level. We talk about the ego, and Sigmund Freud talked about the ego like it was a big thing, but the reality is the ego is something that's going to block you. It's going to stop you from doing things, because it's going to be like, oh, don't do it because you might be embarrassed, or you might sound stupid, or people might say, make fun of you, or something like that. That's the ego is always going to stop you. And it's the higher consciousness that operates outside of the ego that says it doesn't matter what other people say. It only matters what I am doing for myself and how I can help other people. So that is the higher awareness, the helping of other people. And when Rumi talked about finding love, love is the interaction with other people, because, that's really what universal energy wants to do. Universal energy always wants to help other people. Your life is not about you. It's about how you can help other people, the effect that you have on other people's lives. If you think about it, that's really what your life is about, how you affect other people's lives. And, I think about that a lot. And I try to affect other people's lives however I can. Mostly helpful, hopefully. So that's tonight's show, being aware of awareness. Think about it during the week. It's a little, esoteric. It's a little, whatever. You can't really see it. You can't really put your hands on it. It's like a book that you can pick up and read. It's kind of like a feeling, a knowing, an intuition about the things that you should do. And then follow that intuition. If you get that thought, somebody, that's whatever, the voice in your head that says, get up now and go do something, then listen to that and get up and go, because that is an awareness. It's a higher conscious awareness that's trying to move you into place so that universal energy can have the strongest effect on you. So there you go, my spiritual craziness for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all, and love is all you need. Bye-bye. See you next week. Have a great day. Oh, Martin Luther King. Sorry. Martin Luther King, tomorrow. Very important man. We should judge each other by the content of our character and not by the color of our skin. They say beauty is only skin deep, but it's also only skin deep skin. So don't worry about the color of someone's skin. Worry about the content of their character. This is what Martin Luther King talked about. And it's pretty important, especially in this day and age. Don't worry about skin color. It's so superficial, so superficial. It's the content of someone's character. That's really what he was talking about. And I wish that more people, felt strongly about it. Because unfortunately, they still think about Martin Luther King and they just think of him as a black man, But that's not really what he wanted to be thought of. He wanted, people to just look past that, look past skin color and look at character. And that's really what he stood for. And I think it's very important. So honor him tomorrow. Think about it. Think about what he wanted to do. A lot of people work nowadays. A lot of people work on all these holidays that we used to have off. But I think he would also believe that, love is all you need. Because that was the kind of person that he was. So, in honor of Martin Luther King, love is all you need. And I love you all. So, have a great week. Bye. Bye. See you next week.